Welcome to the realm of magic and mystery, classic horror and sci-fi. You are now entering the House of the Unusual podcast with your hosts, Eddie and Joe. Welcome all you cool ghouls and friendly fiends to the House of the Unusual podcast. I'm Joe Pavlansky. We have Eddie Guevara. We have Chuck Caputo. And we have Cheri Caputo joining us all today. What's up, everyone?
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hello there. How are you?
Okay.
All right. I hope everyone's enjoying this crazy weather that we're having. I know a few days ago here in Northeast Ohio, it was sunny out. It was hot. It was like 85. I was sweating doing yard work. And then the other night it was snowing. So
I know. Same here.
It's
So
snowing.
yeah. It doesn't know what it wants to do. You know, there's the old joke with Ohio. If you don't like the weather, just wait an hour. It'll change.
I like that. That's pretty
cute.
cool. Oh yeah, it was freezing out here, and
We were at a funeral.
Yeah,
and it was like sleeting.
It was sleeting a little bit.
Yeah, we had that too. Yeah, a bunch of sleet.
And a few days before it was about 75, 80 degrees.
Beautiful
we
last week.
Got some suntan.
Today was nice. Today went up to 63, I think.
Oh.
Sunny. So we can't.
Nothing like an April snowman, huh?
I love it.
Yeah. Well, you got the Florida snowman. You know, the little cup with the water inside. And
Yeah, really. That's what we could have done out there. I was cutting grass and picked up some of the snow.
There you go.
Yeah.
it's funny.
Add some little liquid to it and have my own cup of snowman while cutting the grass and doing yard work. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was like. It was mid 80s. I'm out there in a t-shirt and shorts, sweating, doing yard work. I said, "This is, because I'm not a hot weather person or a summer person." And then, what was it? Next night or something, it starts snowing and it's down in the low 30s.
Yeah.
I think last night with the wind chill, it got down to low 20s. So
it was cold last night.
Crazy. Yeah,
I
I was getting suntan one day, like you said, cutting the grass, and the next day I'm taking antibiotics.
yeah, we're stocking up on that vitamin C just to make it through the. Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna have what kind of summer we're gonna have this year, because last year wasn't too bad. It wasn't too hot, and we had a real mild winter. So I'm kind of interested to see. What we're going to do here. Cause it always seems like every year summer gets smaller and smaller, winter. I mean, we really haven't had a spring around here.
No.
It almost kind of goes from winter to summer and then summer right into fall. And that those summer months, they keep getting smaller and smaller, which, hey, I'm all for,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I especially love the fall. Once I start feeling that, that temperature dropping. Oh, Chuck, is that not like scary movie?
Oh,
just,
man.
Fuel. I mean, it gets
doesn't,
you ready for it.
It doesn't last too long, though. When the leaves are coming down and the color changing is so beautiful.
You got a couple of weeks.
You got maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops.
Peak colors.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
I tell you what, usually around maybe about mid-September, man, is when the temperature drops, the wind starts cooling off, and the leaves are starting to go. And I'm like, oh man, this is scary movie time, man. You start getting pumped up and you start getting in the mood for Halloween, and I just love that time of year.
Oh, we love it. It's great.
Yeah. So what's been new with you guys? What's you guys doing a lot of shows and all that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have a preschool to do tomorrow morning. It starts at 10 a.m. So I have to leave about 8 because it's about an hour away. It takes about 45 minutes to set up. So yeah, I've been doing quite a few things, and we've been some personal issues.
This weekend we had the baby shower for our daughter-in-law and son.
Yeah, that was cool.
My son made it up from Virginia. He's in school down there. The father to be, and he was able to make it for the shower, so it was really great seeing him. And then unfortunately my sister and her husband, my brother-in-law, his father passed away.
Oh, sorry.
So we went, I know, God bless him, he's such a good guy. We went out there on Sunday to go to the viewing and stay overnight, and we went to the funeral in the morning, Monday morning. So it's been busy and crazy and exciting and all kinds of emotions going on.
Chuck, I assume you're not doing horror magic for the preschoolers. You're not cutting nothing in half, right? Or
Joe, I keep it.
Making some skulls talking.
I keep it so tame, almost like Mr. Rogers. You wouldn't believe it. Yeah.
He doesn't even cut an arm off,
No,
darn it.
yeah, no arm chopping or anything. Yeah.
So you go in there, you sit down and change your sweater and say hello.
What
His big
about
shoes.
any head chopping? Nothing like that either.
No.
No, you got to keep. You don't want to scare anybody. It has to be very.
I don't even think you use the sword in the dove, right?
No, I have a box where I make a dove disappear and I put a sword through the box, but I can't do anything like that. I just make them vanish with a little.
Oh, they would start screaming! Oh my gosh, the dove! What happened?
Yeah, you gotta. You know what? You gotta have enough. You gotta have enough professionalism to know when to use something, when to not.
When to hold up.
Then you know, 20 years from now, they're having PTSD issues because they remember this some magician with curly hair when they were young, sticking a sword through a dove.
Oh yeah. People be
now they're 25 and they can't see a bird outside without.
I'll be getting
squeamish.
And they shudder at the Easter rabbit.
Yeah, right.
You know what I was thinking? Imagine you stick a sword through the box, and then when you open it up, you got like vampire blood or something.
Yeah.
Oh, there's vampire blood capsules.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, I'm an actor, man. You know what? I could fit any occasion. You know.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, you got to be an actor. You know.
Yep, that's all.
Well, that's cool. Glad you guys are keeping busy. And speaking of busy, I know one guy who's constantly busy and going, and that's our curator of the House of the Unusual, Eddie.
Eddie,
what's new?
What's new?
Well, I've been getting
ready
busy. Chiller, man. Chiller next week.
Oh, are you going?
Yeah, definitely going.
Nice.
I'm not sure.
Are you setting up there, or?
You know what? I've been after Kevin. I've been calling him. I might have started a little too late. He might be busy. I haven't had a response yet. I text him on his cell phone. Hopefully, if I get a response, I set up. If not, I'm just going to go there for like I regularly do every time. On Fridays we go. Depending how good it is, we'll go back on Saturday. We used to do the 3-day thing. We've done the 1-day thing. It's only about 45 minutes for me, so it's not too bad. No, I know. I just got a text today. I think one of the actors is not going to be there. They're supposed to be there. I know they got Priscilla Presley. They got a pretty long list of actors. The actor I was kind of after was the what do you call it? The kid from Terminator. Because I have one poster that's signed by everybody, including the kid also, and I just need Arnold on it, believe it or not. But I have a few more posters. I was going to have him sign, like maybe 2 or 3, and that's really the person I was after.
Does Arnold even go to shows or anything to do signings, like for Terminator or anything?
To be honest with you, I think he does, but he stays around the California area.
Well, I'm probably like the real big shows.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, man, because here's the thing. It's a 40 by 60 poster. It's huge. It has the Terminator face, but in one side it's like Arnold. The other side is a robot. And it's got a black background. It's a huge face, right? It's a beautiful poster. I got it posted to show you guys photo. And on that poster, got everybody to sign the poster except for Arnold. Talking about even the Arnold stunt double signed. So I think it's got like 6, 7 signatures. Got the guy, the father, the other Terminator, the one that was skinny. I kind of had him, the skinny guy, the police officer.
Oh,
what the heck was his name?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I can't think of his name.
I had him sign that poster too. You know what I'm saying?
He's usually at a few different shows. I've seen him out here at Monroeville before, a few shows.
He's gone to a couple. But the situation is with all that is that Arnold, that'll be nice to just get him. I'll tell you what, though, in this show, Chiller, I think every actor has been there except, Arnold has. I don't think he's never been there. But Arnold does, when he was governor of California, he made a lot of appearances. And I know a lot of people that met him many times. I just wish that I could be one of those soon so that I can get the poster. And it's funny how life is. I bet you the day I do meet him, I left the poster.
Yeah,
that always happens, right?
Can you wait here, Arnold? I'm gonna run to the storage. I'll be back in about.
Oh yeah. All you have to tell him is, "I'll be back."
I'll be back.
There you go.
But that's about it, Joe. Everything else is getting ready to launch a lot of stuff. In fact, everything's working according to plan. Let's see if hopefully this coming week we have a few surprises. And
Sounds good.
all right.
How's the YouTube channel coming? Any new videos coming up there? Anything
Yeah,
you want to get out to people?
there's been new YouTube videos. In fact, the last 3 or 4 Mondays I posted one, and Chuck every Friday. And I know apparently Chuck is leading the pack right now. There was a time Cheri beat us, but now Chuck is the leader there, and he's doing pretty good. I think the last video he did had over 400 views.
Woo.
Yeah, we gotta get back in that unit. I told Cheri and film some more Chuck's Corners, so we'll be doing that sometime soon, probably early next week.
Yeah.
Definitely. And the best thing is, like you said, one of the things about anything that comes out right now, especially now's a good time to put out a couple of good items, because the fact that fall will be coming not too far in the future, it's time to get ready. Because right now, every Halloween distributor, like if you try to buy anything right now, that's usually sold out, and you're like, what?
Already?
Oh yeah, they get sold out by March or something. Like if you call companies like what do you call it, a Ruby's Costumes. I mean, Morris Costume, anything you buy from, even Loftus Novelties, any wholesaler, right now that you try to get Halloween items from, they will give you a thing saying sold out. You have to start buying that stuff in early January.
Isn't
wow.
Yeah, that's a big thing, because everything gets sold out because Halloween is coming, and the companies buy big time, And I was shocked at that, because believe it or not, at one time I was trying to get a Superman costume for my, not for my son. I was going to get it, put it on, surprise him when he was smaller. This was a few years ago, but it was kind of funny though, because in order for me to get it, man, I tried like 6 different suppliers and nobody had it. Finally, I was able to get one, but it was kind of crazy. I was only able to get one. They only had like one. And I was like, wow, man. And so that's the thing about it, that people don't realize it. But this time of year, all companies, everybody's getting ready for the fall. And you got to understand one thing. Halloween is a big season now where a lot of money is made. I mean, just think about it. Those Halloween stores that pop up everywhere in your neighborhood called,
oh yeah,
one of them is called Spirit.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be honest. They rent a warehouse. It's got to cost them like $50,000 to $60,000 for just 1 month. And then they're there and have employees. So obviously, if they weren't making a profit, they wouldn't be opening it up every single year.
Yeah. Oh, and from what I heard, that Spencer's owns Spirit, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh, really?
I think.
Yeah, I believe so. I thought I heard that a couple years ago.
I know my cousin's son. Every year he would actually open. I don't know if it was Spirit or what. I know my aunt, my aunt used to give him the cash sometimes, and he would open up one of those things, and then but you make several $1,000s just from a month's thing. So it's easy, because you set up 1 month, and then you get 1 or 2 or 3 employees, whatever. And let's be honest, guys, they oversell the stuff, man.
Oh, yeah.
Prices of a regular things like $59.95, $75. This year it'll be, you want a Casper the Friendly Ghost? That's $122.48. You're like, what?
Wow.
You know what?
Yeah, I was just looking online, and yeah, Spencer's does own Spirit Halloween.
Right.
But do you know who owned Spencer's from 1996 to 2003?
No.
No, who?
Universal Studios.
Universal Studios.
Really?
Wow.
I never knew that. That's crazy. I thought it was just like a small, mom and pop store that blew up or something.
Actually, Spencer's used to be a mail order company like Johnson Smith, Joe.
Right.
Yeah, they started 1947, and then they went through several different owners and all that. But I was surprised that the Universal Studios owned them, because you've never really seen like too much like Universal Monster stuff there.
No, right. And you know what? They must be making money, even though they rent the little stores in the malls, the shopping centers and so forth, because rent is not cheap. I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
No, they're not. And every single, which is crazy talking about it, every single one of them has Spencer's. And one thing about Spencer's, it got from novelties to where now it sells like risque, novelty, smoke.
Like a sex shop now.
Yeah.
It's well, no, not exactly. It's weird. It's also like a smoke shop too. It's
Yeah, that too. Yeah, like a smoke and sex shop where, when I used to go there a lot, like in the late 90s, early 2000s, they had a whole section of like horror toys.
Yeah,
Of
right.
like, Friday the 13th. They had some older ones. Nightmare on Elm Street. You could find all these cool horror figures. All the like the NECA line that came out and the McFarlane toys. And I don't know. I went into one a couple years ago. It was actually during Christmas when I was at the mall. I said, I haven't been in one for, a while. Let me check it out. I walked in. There's nothing but sex stuff and like marijuana stuff. I'm like, what the heck? What the heck is this? I'm like, this is in the mall.
and they still.
It's like, if you're a college frat guy, that's like the place for you.
Right.
Yeah, but Joe, they also sell jokes, which is so funny there. They have a little section of novelties there.
Not the one that not the one that I was at. Around me, it was, they had some novelty and jokes, but they were, it was all sex related. It was either sexual or like smoking related. That was it.
Yours is all sex. Where
yeah, I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, what
Where's all the horror figures? Where's the,
Oh no,
where's
they didn't have any Halloween masks and stuff like that.
Nope.
Oh yeah,
no, none of that stuff.
No, I think they did cut that out several years ago. Most of them.
Yeah, this might have been about 3 or 4 years ago. I was at one, so I'm sure they all operate somewhat differently, but yeah, the one that I was at around me didn't have any of that stuff.
They do, but Joe, to an extent, they have all the same stuff. Let me say one thing really quick when you're talking about Spencer's. There's a shop around me, and maybe for some reason that stuff just survives, but there's a shop around me that opened up right a little bit after the Moon Monster. And it was, I think, 1971, he opened up shop. And the funny thing is that this store has survived and got 3 floors from that time. And all it does is, and I think you guys have seen that even in one of the, commercials we have on YouTube where the British lady says, "Hi, I like to attend," the background, that's actually photographs from his shop. He's got a whole section there of novelties. And the novelties he's got, I told you guys many times, I've gone in there, he's got 1980s novelties with the 1980s price on it. And I've gone in there and always buy like a little bit of a fortune. And he loves novelties. He guarantees that, and this thing is got to be like 12 feet wide by like 7 feet high. This huge window thing, and it's all full. And he likes Frankenstein, so he does have a lot of original Frankenstein stuff in there as well. But then when you go to the 3rd floor, it's like a sex shop. The 2nd floor is like a smoke shop. I feel like one day just taking my video there and go asking the owner, because I kind of know him a little. Can I do a video? Because I don't know how he survived so many years, but it's crazy. It's always there.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. Hey, Joe, you mentioned Monroeville, PA. There's a mall near us. It's, when you're in Monroeville, you're not far from where we live. It's called the Monroeville Mall. And way back in the mid 80s, this is when I first started magic around 1985 or so. There was a Halloween company. I don't even know if they're still in business. Probably not. It was called National Theme Productions. And they hired me to go in the mall to 3 different stores. There was Sears, JCPenney's, and Kaufman's. And I would go, I'd walk through the mall I'd do card tricks and I'd do some ventriloquism.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I would tell them that there's a kiosk at these stores. And you know what? They saw like a marked uptick in like the people that started going to the kiosk, because they keep track of all that stuff. So that, so that was proof I did a pretty good job. But that was like 1985. It was really cool. It was like one of the first things I did with magic.
Oh, 1985. So what happened at the Monroeville Mall 5 years prior to that?
You know what happened? The zombies broke out.
Tell him, Cheri, what happened there?
Yeah, the Night of the Living Dead.
I guess that was Dawn of the Dead, right?
Dawn of the Dead. Yep, 1978.
Really? What year was that, Joe?
1978. Filmed at the Monroeville Mall in Monroeville,
Pennsylvania. Well, I have a question for you guys, because I know Joe brought this up and now that Chuck bought it. Do you guys remember every Halloween that Sears had like they would put up I don't know, like some type of display case, everything? They used to sell just Halloween products, like a little miniature spirit store.
Absolutely. I remember that. Yep.
What about you, Joe?
No, it probably wouldn't even occur to me to go to Sears to look for
Oh
Halloween.
no, listen, this was cool. They did it for about 10 years.
What years did they do it?
It was after, it was like in 2000. I mean, like 1995 through,
Yeah.
but they did it a lot. And let me tell you, Joe, they would put like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 display cases, like those jewelry display cases. They sold novelties, a bunch of stuff in there. It was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Sears,
And they still have it, the Monroeville Mall. But we're going to get it on film one of these days. We keep saying it. We're going to do it while it's still there. They have a zombie museum in there. It's like,
really?
It's like $15 a person to get in. It looks really neat, but they have all stuff, from they got some of the film clips that are running on different screens. They have Plaster of Paris zombies, and it tells a lot about the movie Night of the Living Dead. As it has a lot of memorabilia from George Romero and so forth. So we're going to try and make a movie of that. I've been trying to do it, but I kept forgetting. We're always getting busy.
Or if we're there, he's not open.
And sometimes he isn't open. So we're going to have to catch it just right. But it is in the Monroeville Mall. I think it's on the upper level.
It is,
yeah. It's really cool.
Oh, that's cool. I was there. What was it? Was I there? I can't remember. I don't think I actually went in the mall, but I was going out to a comic convention out there. Is there a Monroeville, like an expo center or something?
Right around the corner.
It's right around the corner.
Yep.
Okay, that's where I was. Maybe, 12 years ago or so for a I think they had a comic convention out there, and I meant to go to the mall, and I don't know what happened, but I never made it out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was. I don't know what happened. I might have stayed too long at the comic show or something.
Night of the Walking Dead.
But yeah, I wanted to go there and just walk down the what is it? They have like steps, the real famous steps that you walk down.
Where
is that? What I'm thinking of at the mall?
Not there.
Yeah, I guess it was on Dawn of the Dead, right? Do you mean with the steps where the entrance, the mall entrance?
Yeah, the mall entrance. Was that steps going down?
I don't know if there's steps.
There's steps inside the.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly
I don't
where.
know.
There's like 5 different places where you go into
escalators and an elevator.
Yeah.
I'm trying to it's been a while since I've seen the movie. Maybe it was the escalators that I'm thinking about.
It could be, yeah.
It could have been.
Or they have stairs, I think, going down to the food court when you walk in that one door.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna have to watch the movie again. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah, it's been so long. I'm trying to think. Was it stairs? Was it an escalator? Somebody out there listening to the podcast now is like,
Joe,
"No, you idiot! It's escalators."
Joe, I think it was an escalator. I think
Okay.
that's what I can remember.
Yeah, I believe so. I definitely have to go back and watch it. Even that whole series.
If you guys ever make it out to Monroeville, give me a call because we live literally 10 minutes away from the Monroeville Mall, maybe 12 minutes.
I can't believe that during, say, like Halloween or something, they don't show like that movie inside the mall on like a wall, like using a projector or anything like that.
They really should. Now, back when Romero passed away, they had like a memoriam type of thing. Remember, Cheri?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, it said like, we'll miss you, George, or something. And there was like people actually threw DVDs of Night of the Living Dead.
Really?
Yeah, like inside where it was, and it was kind of neat. But they had
that's cool.
Yeah, they had a couple masks and so forth. That was quite a few years ago when he passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, I was going to tell you, they might not play it because of copyright reasons. I think they might have to get permission to do that. And the reason I think that is because it's associated with the mall. Maybe when the mall signed the contract with them,
Could be.
and they got paid, that's the only thing I could see, because I understand what you're saying. See, in that case, if you're going to use the movie, it's not like to say you're going to play it, then you probably could. But if you're going to use it for advertising purposes like that, you might need to get a copyright permit for that.
Yeah, I thought maybe even that would that have been a good publicity stunt for them or something? Because I think it's United Film still owns the rights to it. So, I don't know how much that stuff costs now. I'm sure it's not cheap, by any means. But it would be cool. I mean, I don't know.
You know what? I could tell you this much in my job, and this just to get an idea. In my job, sometimes they do movies. And they rent, and when they rent one of the units or something for a movie, and this is like a studio apartment type of thing, I think they paid them like $18,000 or $22,000 for like 10 minutes worth. It's it's crazy, and that's just for one day. You know what I mean? So
if the demand's there, people will pay the money, and that's why they charge.
That's what I'm saying. But those movie companies will come in and I mean, I wish they want to use my apartment. I'll sure, no problem.
You better
I'll do the
believe it.
podcast from the street. Any noise
Yeah.
from outside.
I'll take 20 grand for 10 minutes in my house.
Yeah, do it. No problem.
Hey guys, with our last part of the podcast today, I want to talk a little bit about drive-in movie theaters.
Ooh, nice.
Kind of to switch it around here a little
Yeah.
bit. And because you know what, I was reading the other day. I was reading the latest issue of Scary Monsters, which was number 130. It's a drive-in horror issue, and I said, man, this would be a great little topic to touch on. And I said, I started, thinking of drive-in movie theaters when I was younger and going to see them. And I'm like, I know Chuck and Cheri have to have some great memories of going to the drive-in. So, that's kind of what I want to touch on. Is some kind of drive-in movie memories here, or what you guys have. So who wants to start it off? Because I know you guys got some good ones, and I want to hear them.
We got that same one. What was it called? Where the Walmart is now, right up the street.
Yeah, we actually had two of them very close to our houses over here, and one was in Ardmore, which is in Forest Hills, Pennsylvania. It was called the Ardmore Drive-In, and I think they were bought out by Gold Circle in like 1978. And they kind of built their store there, so that's been leveled for quite a while. Then a little further down the road, it was the
where Walmart is.
Yeah, was that the
Greater Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Greater Pittsburgh Drive-In.
That's it. That was it.
And I think when Walmart went up in about 1995, somewhere around there. But we were fortunate enough to take our kids there when they were younger.
Yeah, just a bit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
and then we were dating. We went.
We went there. We were dating, and there was.
It's a family show. Keep it PG.
No, there were like, what? People would throw their scraps out on the like outside, and there was raccoons.
We were sitting on the back of his truck.
Yeah,
like an open truck, and was in the back of the bed
on the tailgate.
And we saw a big fat raccoon coming across the road. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. He was looking for a snack.
Yeah.
But we had good memories there.
Yeah. There isn't too many around. There's a couple around. I know the one you go to, Joe, once in a while, which I'd like to try to remember. I'd like to look this up, is in Vandergrift, PA.
Yeah.
That's not too
I meant to look at them the other day when I was reading the magazine. I'm like, I wonder if Vandergrift is doing any monster movies this year, because usually 3 or 4 or 5 times a year, mostly in the summer and all that, they do, show some classic horror and sci-fi movies. So I was, I got to see what they're doing this year. Hopefully and usually they do something with Monster Bash. Monster Bash will set up there and they'll announce the movies and all that. So
it seems nice. like that not only the drive-ins went out of business, it seems like the movie theaters are going out of business. I mean, now it's just like you go onto your local like your cable system and you could rent a movie. I mean, it's a shame. I mean, you can't really find a movie theater too much anymore, or a drive-in.
Well, we have it at the mall now.
Yeah, there is one at the Monroeville Mall.
We went for date night and we saw that Jesus Revolution.
Right, but I mean,
they closed the one near our house.
Yeah, there was a huge one called the Showcase Cinema. They had like 22.
That was in Monroeville.
That was Showcase Cinema, 22 screens, and then the Phoenix just closed in North Versailles. They had about 22 screens. So I don't know what the heck is going on.
You know what? In my side, I'll just mention now that you're saying that, Chuck, I have right basically less than a mile from me. I have I think it's 20plex. I have in the mall, every major mall in my area, 3 of them have major 10, 15 screens or whatever it is. The thing that kills me is the ticket price is like $12.50 or
I know.
And the funny thing, it does get pretty full, which I'm kind of surprised. Maybe because my area, I mean, like I said, it's like you said, Chuck, there are also a lot of movies now are offering like, Netflix and stuff where you can pay it from home. So I guess they found it that they can make money either way from the movie live but I mean, people still go. I mean, every time there's a new movie coming out and stuff in my area, you have lines outside the movie theater. So it could be because, do understand, you also live in an area that's not as populated as my area,
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, I did find on that the Riverside Drive-In Theater in Vandergrift, they are having next weekend, they're doing a April Ghouls Drive-In Monster-Rama.
Really?
And there are some really cool they're all 80s movies, well, late 70s through 80s. So on Friday, April 28th, they have Silent Night, Deadly Night from 1984,
Ooh,
followed by Chopping Mall 1986.
I love that. That was a cool movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Slumber Party Massacre 2, 1987, and Sorority House Massacre 1986. And then on Saturday, the 29th, they have Maniac from 1980, Maniac Cop 1988, The Toolbox Murders 1978, and Silent Madness from 1984. It looks like admission is $15 per person each night, kids 12 and under with adult free. Overnight camping available for $15 per person each night. So advanced tickets will be available online. It says check out their Facebook page, but that's next Friday and Saturday, 28th and 29th at the Riverside Drive-In Theater in Vandergrift, PA.
How in the world would they offer camping? That just doesn't make sense.
There's a when I was out there for Monster Bash a couple years ago, we stayed out there, and you could either stay in your car or at the end of the drive-in, because it's a huge lot. They only have well, I guess like in their lot towards the end, there's a big space, maybe about 100 yards wide by maybe, I don't know, 30 yards, or I'm sorry, 100 yards in length by 30 yards wide, and it's all set up for camping out there.
Wow.
So you could throw your tent out or whatever. When I was out there, I just stayed in my truck and slept. And then usually they do breakfast out there in the morning. You could buy breakfast from the concession stand. So it's pretty cool.
You know what's kind of crazy about that, Joe? When you see, in order to do, let's say, for example, you know how when movie theaters drive-in is, like where every car goes, it has it kind of sunk in the ground a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just don't just thinking within my mind, how in the world? Because I know I was very small. I mean, I don't recall. I never went as an adult to any drive-in through theater or whatever. But what I'm saying is, let's say you have a car in the front of the lot there or something, or you have, how the heck? So you have to have enough room for every car to go in and out whenever they want. You know what I'm saying? And you need a lot of acres for that. And the problem here is the cost of the land. I mean, I can see going upstate New York where you buy 10, 15 acres and having a drive-through movie theater there where people, but I mean, that's crazy. And also, how many people are really willing to pay $15 per person for a drive-through for a movie from the 80s? I'm just wondering about that.
They I know they usually get very busy out there for their horror movie. I don't know, what would you call the marathons?
Yeah, because
they get very busy out there. So there's people that definitely pay, and there's people that use the concession stand, because I mean they have everything you could think of in their concession stand. I mean, it's huge, and they do a fantastic job out there.
I have a feeling that people go there more like to have their more than PG ratings within the car. And that's what I have a feeling that really has.
You never know. Hey, I'm still thinking about how I'd sleep in the car, Joe, because my back would lock up. I'd have to be life flighted out of there.
I'll tell you what, I slept so good in my truck, man. I had I just reclined my seat. Wow. I put a pillow down. I put a pillow over my face to keep the sun out. And I slept. Oh, man, did I sleep good? Because I think it wrapped up about, man, if I remember right, somewhere about maybe 1 or 2 in the morning, something like that. And then went to sleep. And then I think I was up around 8 or 9, did breakfast. And then they had some like little games during the day, and they had some vendors out. And it was kind of, I think they could have done maybe a little bit more out there, because there was really nothing during the day until the sun started going down. So, I bought a few magazines. I brought a book. So it was really kind of nice, because I sat out there. I brought a chair, and I kind of read all day. I smoked cigars, drank coffee, and
there you go.
Walked around, talked to people. And it was really, looking back, it was really kind of refreshing, because it was just quiet. And, I got to catch up on some reading, relaxing, catch up with some people that I know from, the convention, all that. But I think it would have been nice if they still had a little bit more to do during the day. What that could have been, I have no idea. That's above my pay grade or
Yeah.
creativity. But
Me too, yeah.
yeah, but I mean, it was just because that was during the COVID year, so Monster Bash was closed down, so this was kind of like their hey, we could have a little get together, and it was nice to have that. So yeah, I'm just grateful we had it. I hear somebody's spooky sci-fi music.
That's because it's time to ask the important question.
Uh-huh.
Joe, how long ago was this, Joe?
Ooh, what was that? 2021. It was summer of 2021. I think it was like around, June. Because they didn't have I want to say it was 2021 because I don't think they had a Monster Bash at the hotel that year, but he did have it at the drive-in.
Oh, I think you know what? I think I remember that. Yeah, that you mentioned that you had stayed out there. I remember that now.
Yeah, it was really cool. I stayed. I wanted to stay the night, Saturday into Sunday, but I was like, you know what? I just, because I'm a night person, obviously, work nights and all that. So I think the last movie wrapped up around 2:00, and I'm like, man, I'm wide awake. So I ended up driving. Yeah, I just ended up driving home. I think it was like an hour and a half or so, or hour, whatever it was, and I just ended up driving home. I said, screw it. So I actually got home. And I think I watched another monster movie when I got home. So I think I threw on the Monster Channel and watched whatever was on there. So
did they have any vendors at all? So basically, it's just movie night. That's all it was.
Yeah, they had some Yeah, there was like up by the screen. There was I don't know, maybe 6 vendors set up, and then they had they had some cornhole boards going, and what else did they have up there? I think that's it. They had some like little stuff for the kids, and then inside of the concession, Monster Bash Creepy Classics was set up, and that was it. I mean, basically during the day you were on your own to kind of keep yourself occupied, I guess. So
was there a lot of people there? I mean, was that really worth it? I mean, I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, there was a lot of people there. I mean, during the people that stayed during the day, there was a lot, but then come at night when the movie started, yeah, it got pretty packed in there. So
good, I'm glad.
It was just, and that was my first time at a drive-in theater in probably 10 years or so, because I know we went years ago out to one, and they still have it up in Warren, Ohio. I think there's actually 2 out that way. They play all newer movies though. It's hard to find kind of these theaters that play the classics. I think the Riverside Drive-In's the only one that really constantly plays classic movies along with newer movies. I seen on their Facebook they have the Dungeons and Dragons movie. They have the Super Mario Brothers playing, and
I want to see that one.
Yeah, that looks pretty neat.
My wife saw that the other day at the theater. She said it was really good. She enjoyed it.
Which one? The Super Mario.
Yeah.
What?
Like colorful graphics.
Looked very colorful.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, really? I didn't even know that the movie was out. To be honest with you.
Yeah, we love Mario and Luigi.
I think I would love better to have Chuck sleep in the truck in one of those things, and then a little kid next door, when they start taking him out in an ambulance in the morning, go, "Mommy, there's a Walking Dead!"
So Eddie, what's some of your drive-in movie theater memories?
My drive-in movie theater memories were more like more called like drive-by movie.
What kind of neighborhood you live in? Huh?
No.
Yeah.
The problem is that in my neck of the woods, there's a lot of malls. There's not. I mean, there is, but not. When you're talking about open space like that to do a drive-in, the last drive-in I remember was probably 1979, 1980. And it was usually about an hour and a half from my area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There really wasn't. I never went into a drive-in movie theater. I mentioned that once. I did pass by them. I was in one time because I had basically, I think it was in a different state, like Georgia or something. They were doing a flea market. And I remember, which is kind of funny because they did it where, how can I say it? I was inside like I said, there's like each car has like a thing that dips in the ground, and they did it right over that. And then if you're not careful, you would have ate the ground, and I remember tripping and I think that's about it. I think I didn't be honest with you. I don't know if it was Georgia, maybe South Carolina, but up in my area here, I don't really think there's any drive-in theaters still left open, Joe, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't think unless maybe in southern New Jersey somewhere,
Yeah.
is never actually mentioned. And you know what? Coming to think about it, to be honest with you, I think I do remember something recently about a couple of months ago that from some drive-in theater or something. But I gotta be honest, I never really even cared about going. Earlier years ago, I cared about it, but I kind of like the big screen indoors where you can hear what people are not far away where you can't see it. In fact, one of my greatest experiences in movies, which is bizarre, is when the movie Gravity came out. Now, people know Sandra Bullock in Gravity. If you watch it on TV, you go, the movie's okay. But when it came out, I put my 3D glasses, man, and I sat in the very, very first lane.
Oh my.
The very first. So you're looking up because the screen is 40 feet, and it's right in front of your face by about 10 feet. But I got to tell you one thing, though. When that 3D effect came on and the space shuttle was going around the Earth, I was shocked that it looked like it was right above my head.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
I thought it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. And I like to watch anytime there's a 3D movie that's good. I like because you got to watch it from the first row, man. First or second row. I know people like sitting all the way, but it's so cool to see the effects. It's amazing. That's what I like. And I haven't been to the movies in about a year now, since COVID and stuff like that. But I was thinking of going because I do enjoy the movies.
Yeah, you should go.
I tell you what, Eddie, we go back to the drive-in days when they had the hang-on metal things that would go in your window.
Right.
Yes. I mean, I've seen them, but I haven't really gone to the theater. Like I've been in them, I've passed by them, but I haven't actually, let me sit here and watch a movie tonight. I haven't done that.
But I tell you what, the drive-in that was really close to me down in that. Now this would have been real like early to mid 80s before it closed. I think it closed around 87, 88, somewhere around there. Coatesville, Ohio, is called I believe it was the Sky High Drive-In. And then right next to it was a Fun City, USA. It was this little amusement park type thing. They had the bumper cars. They had bumper cars on the water, those little rafts.
Yeah.
A merry-go-round. What else did they have? Go-karts. It was all geared for, younger kids.
Yeah.
And some other like little thing. They had like a playground and everything, and batting cages. So it was geared for, if you wanted to, you basically stop there first before the drive-in, have your kids, wear them out. And then, then you could take them to the drive-in and they could sleep while you watch the movie because it was right next to it. But, I remember going to the drive-in there. I had been very young. I remember more Fun City, USA, because it was open, I believe, until maybe the real later 80s, 88, 89. And then that closed up. But I know I want to say the screen was up until, oh gosh, maybe the late 90s. The parking lot was all grown in and everything. You still had the poles and everything set up, but it was grown in. The screen was up, it was in tatters and everything. And then a business bought the lot there, knocked everything down and set up a building. But that was the closest one to me, and it was literally 2-3 minutes from where I grew up. And I don't remember any more, that close. I know there was one out in PA by I think it was called Riley's Fun Spot. And it would have been maybe because I was real close to, where I'm at is close to the PA border. So I think it was about 15-20 minutes past the border. And Riley's Fun Spot, they had go-karts, batting cages, miniature golf, a concession stand, and then across the street there was like adult go-karts. But on the other side of like the T intersection, so you had at the big part, the T, you had Riley's Fun Spot, and then across the street in one corner was the adult go-karts. and then on the other side you had the drive-in theater.
Mhm.
And I can't remember what that one was called, but I do remember being young going there, in the mid early 80s, and it was already closed up, and from what I could recall, it was closed up for years. It was all ingrown and kind of tattered and all that. And it's kind of sad to read, and hear about all these places, all these drive-ins that no longer exist, because it would be a cool piece of history if they were still
Yeah.
around.
They would be. You know what I think, Joe, when you're saying, I think one of the reasons would change and everything, like, for example, I saw something, not a drive-in, but I'm saying your experience watching a movie. My problem with the drive-in always was, and like I said, when I got married, they were still like, I could still pass by one if I wanted to go, but I think it was something about seeing the movie in such a far away screen, especially if you got to be the lucky guy that got all the way in the back. You know what I'm saying? You're like, what the hell? I can't see the screen,
Yeah, the
But-
only thing that was good about a drive-in is that you did have your privacy in there, so you can sit there. You don't have to worry about somebody talking next to you, like at a movie theater. That was the only advantage. But
Yeah, Chuck, let's be honest. The advantage for, I think, the theater itself was more for the what went on in the car than in the film itself. That's what I think. And it was popular in the 1950s because, hey, you go to the car and then it turns from PG to some other rating.
Yeah.
But the honest truth, to be honest, I want to say one thing. One thing that I saw that I've never seen this, that this was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Some guy in my job one time goes, "Hey, come over. I'm going to show you the setup I got in my apartment." And he had, now just think about what I'm saying. When you walked in, it was like a one-bedroom apartment, but the entire living room wall, he had this projector that and I don't know how the heck it covered the entire wall, but his movies were the size of it. Like, in other words, he played in the one entire wall from ceiling to floor. He had the television thing on, and it was kind of crazy because I'm like, it feels like you're watching not a film. It'll feel like you're watching a play or people right in front of you.
Wow, that would be cool.
It was, and I have a movie. You know what? I'm going to try to see if I find a fast clip that I took of that to like show you guys, because I never saw anything like it. And he had on the wall a special paper so that it could project the film, and it was like, like not 4K. I think it was 1080p, because we're talking probably 6-7 years ago. But I was blown away by that. I was like, wow, man, that'll be the coolest thing in the world. And I remember telling him, he told me the projector cost him like $2,500, but it was like for surround sound, and it was beautiful. I've never seen anything like it, Joe. That's cool, And I mean, there's nothing cooler than having like a 7,500-inch TV and you sit in front of it. So I'm a movie fanatic. I love to watch, but I like the giant screen like that. Huh. It gives it, the closest thing to that was when I used to have, I told you guys that many times I would lie down in my bed and I would buy those classic monster films or sci-fi films.
Oh yeah.
Not in a 7-inch DVD player I had, but I put it right on top of my chest, and it'll be dark in the room, so it felt like I was watching a big giant screen.
That's wow.
That's cool. I tell you what, while we got about 10 minutes here, so we'll start wrapping up a little bit here, and I want to just give our listeners out there a little brief history on the drive-in theaters, because I thought it was very interesting, and there's it's almost, I guess in my opinion, it's really a sad tale, because I think, although they're still around, they came and went so fast, and they were such a big part of our culture, especially during the 50s, 60s, and 70s. But I was interested to learn that so there was a partial drive-in theater that was first opened in La Cruz, New Mexico on April 23rd, 1915.
Whoa.
And the first movie shown there was Bags of Gold, and that would be in 1915, and then that theater, the Theater de la Glupe, was renamed the Deluxe Theater in 1916. But then there was a 1921. There was a drive-in that opened in Clark Caver it was opened by Claude Caver in Comanche, Texas, and they showed some outdoor movies there. But it wasn't until let's see, what was it, 1932, that the drive-in theater was patented in Camden, New Jersey, by Richard M. Hollingshead Jr., whose family owned and operated the R.M. Hollingshead Corporation chemical plant there.
Oh.
And he started doing some tests out at his house in the driveway. He would nail a screen to trees in his backyard, set a 1928 Kodiak projector on the hood of his car, and put a radio behind the screen, testing different sound levels with his car windows up and down. And then, people would come there and, he would kind of test it out on them. So I thought that was, really interesting to see how it really started. And then, just like anything, it developed from there, and it really peaked, down 40s, 50s, and 60s, even into the mid 70s. But, kind of the 70s, mid to late 70s was when it really started to decline, and into the 80s and 90s. And it was almost, basically pretty much gone, like we just talked about, in the 80s, early 80s, you really seen, these theaters start to shut down and all that, and make way for indoor movie theaters. And one of the main reasons that these drive-in theaters were popular in the 40s and 60s is because, TVs were just coming out. They were still really expensive, and it was easier to just, pack up the kids and go to the drive-in theater, and go see a movie. But as TVs became, more popular and a lot cheaper, people were staying home. So you saw the decline of the movie theaters, the drive-in theaters, and then eventually they closed. But the indoor ones, they still maintained up until today, which, we've definitely seen a decline in the last few years with the movie theaters. And I think a big part of that has been, Hollywood itself basically shooting itself in the foot. But, we still have movie theaters out there. There's few and far between, and its golden heyday is gone. And, will it ever come back around? Probably not, because it's so easy for people to sit in their house and stream, a movie. So
yeah, it's a shame. It really is.
Yeah, I don't foresee, general making a bounce back like they used to. And I definitely don't see drive-in theaters doing anything like that. And like Eddie touched on before, it's so expensive for land. You have to have a huge chunk of land.
Yeah.
And then just all the material to build everything, and the concession stand. And just like a regular movie theater, with a drive-in, you're making your money off of your concession stand.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
And with a car, it's so much easier to bring in a buffet of food and, sit in your car and eat without, nobody coming around and checking, what you're doing. So,
one thing I'm going to add to it, Joe, one thing I noticed a lot of people doing, including in my job. Now, my job consists of 22 buildings, so there's several thousand people that live there. Every Wednesday in the summer, Joe, they blow up, I think it's a 40 or 50-foot screen. It's like a blow-up thing, like those things where kids jump in.
Yeah.
And it's a 50-foot, and then they do a movie night for free,
Oh, that's nice.
They do it in the one park they have there, and a lot of people come. Now, I got to be honest, one night I tried to go close to it, and I'm like, what the heck? It was more like the killer mosquito night than the
there's a lot of places that are doing that now. And I know where I live, a couple years ago, they tried doing it in the park. It was like every Sunday night in the summer, and they just didn't get a good crowd for it. It was, only a handful of people, if that.
Oh, that's a shame.
That came out, and they had a really nice screen, a really nice projector and sound system, and it was beautiful. But they had to show movies that were kind of basically public domain type stuff. And so it's harder to show, because I guess even if you're offering it for free to the public, you still have to pay. And what they found out in the city didn't want to pay, for the following year, they didn't want to pay to get those newer, better movies in, which would have probably drew a crowd in. So that kind of flopped.
It's kind of funny, even when you say, I guess here's where the problem is, Joe. It becomes, when you're going to play it to a crowd, it's now a copyright thing. But if you're playing it in your house to your family, Of course not, because you're like, this thing airs over regular TV. Why not? You know?
Right.
But the truth is, like you're saying, it might be that they have to pay. And let me tell you, it's not, no kidding about this. They charge you thousands of dollars
Oh
just
yeah.
for
Yep.
one view.
It's not cheap. But I tell you what's a cool story that I remember from this would have been late 90s. A buddy of mine in the Army, he was from Pennsylvania, and he lived close to where they filmed The Evil Dead. I think it was the first one, it might be first and second, where the cabin was out in the woods.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So the cabin was actually, they found out where the cabin was. It was, at that time, it was knocked down, just the chimney was up. But every year they would, during like Halloween, they would get a bunch of people out there. They would take some generators and a projector, and they would play the movie on the
That's cool.
on the chimney out there of the Evil Dead. They'd bring out, they'd make kind of like a whole day of it, because they were all like horror movie fans and all that. So they go out there and barbecue, drink some beer and all that, and just play I mean, could you imagine in the middle of the woods watching Evil Dead on on a chimney at the actual site of the movie?
Now that's strange.
I mean, that would be kind of scary, but really cool. And he said, every year just grew and grew to so many people coming out there that they had to limit it to, how many people, because it was just getting too much for where it was at. But I thought that was really cool, and a really cool way to keep, movies like that alive. So,
yeah.
Huh.
Joe, it gets down to basics. You love camping and you like to be out in the woods by yourself, if I'm correct, right?
Oh yeah.
Not a lot of people, like my brother's like you. He likes camping and stuff. And I said to him, how is it that you go to Cuba so many times and stuff? He's like, well, I think of it like I'm going camping, because I'm like, there's really not air conditioning. There's like, but I hate, I even though I grew up I was born in a farm. I hate the outdoors to sleep overnight and stuff. I just like the air condition,
Me
the
too.
nice area, the mall.
Cheri said me too.
Yeah, I love to walk outdoors. I like to have a barbecue, but you know what? At 5-6 p.m., I want to head home, take a shower, and so that's kind of like probably where I think the drive-in theater and stuff went by the wayside, because a lot of people like the comfort of home. And
Now, Eddie, I will have to agree with you on that. When I was out at Vandergrift a couple years ago, because it was hot, I was sweaty.
Yeah.
But me being the Fred Bear of the modern outdoors, I came prepared and had baby wipes with me. So,
Oh,
so I was nice and clean, and when it was sticky, I would just wipe myself down with the baby wipes, and
you were baby fresh, man.
I was good to go, man. But I know there were some other people out there that were just hot and sticky.
Here's the thing, Joe. So let's ask you real quick. So you went there for the night of the movie, and then supposedly your truck was going to turn into from PG to R. And then all of a sudden the night came, the heat and everything, and went back to G rated, correct?
Yeah. It was just me, and I had my little horror figures posted up on the windshield. So, it was just me and my little Universal Monster horror figures. I got pictures of it somewhere. I'll have to put up on the website, but all the real little ones. And
I thought your wife went with you. She didn't
go.
No,
she didn't go. No, she don't like any of those movies. So, and she had to watch the dogs too. So it was just me, my books, my horror figures, and I had a few good cigars and coffee. And I tell you what, man, it was, it kind of, brought me back to being a child a little bit, of seeing, the movies at the theater and everything. And it was cool. But hey, guys, we got to wrap it up. We have about a minute and a half left. So, guys, if you're out there and you're listening and you like what you hear and you want us to do more, please like and subscribe to whatever platform you listen to us on. Give us a 5-star review, because that does help us with the algorithms and all that good stuff. Also, we are on YouTube, House of the Unusual. Type it in the search, subscribe, like the channels, like the videos, all that good stuff. You know what to do. Also, we are on our flagship site. That is our home base, man. It is houseoftheunusual.com. You can find all the links there. To Etsy, to eBay, to podcast, and we have a forum site there that's free to use, free to join. A lot of cool stuff always going up there. Come and interact with us, man. And if you like, a lot of cool stuff like we do, which is pretty much all over the place, drop us a line and come on the podcast with us and chat with us about, some of your interests, some old movies and all that, because we're always looking for new people to talk with on here. And that's all it is just a conversation about stuff that we enjoy. So make sure you guys check us out on all that stuff and support some of our people that we talk about, like the Monster Channel, My Movie Monsters .com, Creepy Classics, home of the Monster Bash, and check your local bookstore for Scary Monsters. It is out number 130. It is all about drive-in movies, so check it out.
Wow.
Guys, that's all we got. So good night, everyone.
Good night. God bless.
All right, good night.